Hey there everyone, Luke here, and hope you guys had a Merry Christmas and a great new year. For me, it was just average. Nothing particularly amazing happened, but nothing horrible happened. And we got the Disney era, not Disney era, the post-Sword era Power Rangers done. So those videos are out on Control Chaos. So go and enjoy them. Hopefully, in the next few weeks, we'll be starting the Disney era, starting on Ninja Storm, and yeah, that's all I need to say. But one thing I've got to say is that my dad got me this cool anime T-shirt, so cheers, Dad, for that. But yeah, there is one dad in the that I know of that is definitely not winning Father of the Year. I think we all know who it is. Yes, it's Asa. Now, another thing that I wanted to say is that I did say that I would. I'm pretty sure I did say that I'll be doing the Dr. Stone before the Yozakura, but considering what tomorrow is, I figured leave it till then, because yeah, we all know I'm not gonna beat around the bush about it. It's Senku's birthday tomorrow, January 4th, so that will be when the Dr. Stone video comes out, because I feel like that's more appropriate of a day to actually do a Dr. Stone chapter discussion. And yeah, initial impressions of it are kind of like mixed to say the least. And yeah, a lot of people seem to be like, is it retconning a lot of things? But we'll talk about that. Hopefully, again, in the next few weeks, me, Pyrojams and Fakes will be going through and talking about it ourselves on Control Chaos, or possibly my channel, transferring it over to Control Chaos. But yeah, without further ado, let's dive right into the Mission Yozakura chapter. Okay, so this will be chapter 208, titled Spartan Futtaba. No, I'm not doing the obvious joke with that. But anyway, the point is that me and Partridge were having a discussion about Futtaba's character and how she kind of has been taking a little bit of a back seat in recent years. And yeah, I'll agree with that. Like, Futtaba is still my favourite character, but she hasn't really done as much. And we had that whole discussion about whether or not her stamp was deserved as much as the others, but this chapter I think actually redeems her based on what I've seen, and based on the spoilers I've seen for the upcoming 209 chapter. Which, again, by the way, that chapter will not be out this week, considering what is happening next week for me. So it'll be out the week after, considering we've got another break coming up. It'll be kind of like what I did here, where I took like a week off to kind of be the Christmas period and enjoy myself. And yeah, that'll be the same with that one, because next on Sunday this week it's my birthday and something's happening on Monday. I know people who have talked to on Discord know exactly what's happening, but I'll be sharing that when after the event that happens. So anyway, without further ado, yeah, the chapter starts off with basically from the ending of that chapter, where Futa was like, okay, Hiyofumi, you are gonna be trained. She's basically doing like, okay, you are gonna master your Bonkai in 3 days. That's basically what this is all boiling down to. Like, hey, it's the technique. We're gonna be speeding through you to awaken your blooming. This is the start of the second mission, Yozakura front line, and alongside that, we're going to be training you in the hopes of triggering your blooming. So let's begin. Your first blooming can come out in many ways, but most often it's a hidden strength. So okay, what are Hiyofumi's strengths? I will say that she's very protective of her brother, and I guess you can kind of see her starting to get protective of her family in general. So I guess it would be the case of like, okay, if something she loved was in danger, would that be the trigger to the blooming itself? But yeah, but also as well, it could be what is said here about desperation to save yourself or someone else. Yeah, basically, okay, what would be the best chance to trigger your blooming? Desperation. Yeah, I guess that kind of works. And they go on to say that when you dig deep for that last burst, you'll find it. But you're already really powerful, so if you're going to use that trigger, we'll need to manufacture a dangerous situation. I don't think that even will work. Like, you would have to literally put her in mortal danger for it to happen. Like, you can't fake it. I feel like with the blooming, you can't actually fake it. So it can't be an artificial one. It can't be like, oh, this is just a pretend. No, no, you have to really put your lives on the line, because otherwise the emotions are going to come out as powerful as they should be, particularly with the twins as well. So as Futtaba is explaining all of this, Hiyofumi is like, oh, manufacture, before we see her use her kinetic energy ability to manufacture a bubble with a fish inside of it, like just literally holding she's like literally holding a bubble in her hand, and there's a fish inside it, and I just love the reaction of the is it a fish or okay, it's a piranha. I just love the reaction of the piranha. I'm just being like, what the hell is going on here? I was just eating some bugs, and then the next thing I made this bubble with this strange woman. Like, what the hell is going on here? Before we have Hiyofumi going, like, oh yeah, that time with our stamp cards, and Futaba's just like, yeah, I can even use a thin layer of Ayaki this time. It's really fragile. Drop it or even bump it, and it'll pop. So basically, this is Hiofumi's test here, where it's like, okay, you're gonna get from point A to point B without. It's basically like in best way I can describe this test is like the test of the dragons. Like, are you worthy of the dragons in Avatar by taking the flame of the dragons from point A to point B? It's something similar to that, but with a bubble. And of course, Creature being Creature is just like, hey, step on me, please, step on me, pop me, everything. It triggers my super swinging air. No, so no. Okay. Okay, yeah, something, yeah, okay. Strike what I was saying here about Korichiro. Oh no. Oh no. So Futtaba, like, I'm such an idiot. Futtaba throws the bubble, and then she causes this to actually be like, okay, I'm gonna stomp on you, Korichiro, but I don't think Korichiro is being like, please step on me, mode at this moment in time, before Futtaba instructs Hiyofumi, like, okay, carry the bubble all the way to Moses' lab at the base of the volcano. That's your first time. And I just see Hiyofumi being freaked out, like, this bubble is really fragile. I've got to take it from point A to point B. Do you think I can actually do that? Before we have creatures being like, hey, that air noggin nearly burned a hole in my skull, and now you want me to make Hiyofumi do that? No, absolutely not. I refute. So basically, while Fruits was being like the firm but fair, aren't here, Creature's just being like, as he is, the overprotective uncle, just being like, no, we don't want to put her in mortal danger. You saw how powerful that technique was. We don't want to do that to her. And Fruita's just like, oh, quit spoiling the girl already. This is why things turn out the way it is if you keep spoiling them. And she goes on and says, if she's going to participate in the mission, she needs to develop the strength to survive. If you really care about her, you need to have a strict hand, which, yeah, Futtaba is speaking complete sense here. It's like, they want to be part of this mission, they want to be part of this family, they've got to learn to access their own strength. You can't be coddling them, Koricho. You didn't do that with Tayo, but you can just imagine Koricho being like, well, I hate Tayo, so it doesn't count. But yeah, point is that Futtaba is like, hey, this is tough love, but it's gonna have to be what it has to be. And Koricho even goes on and says that, yes, every word you just said is correct, but I can't stand the idea of seeing her get hurt. So no, I'm against it. So you got like kind of the conflicting minds of like, yes, she is a Yozakura, so yes, she has to be in front of this mission, but I have to be the protective uncle because she reminds me so much of Mutsumi. It's like, Koricho, I know I've said this before and I'll say it again, but you really need to take it down a peg. But yeah, but yeah, Futtaba goes on and says, you know, they call people like you the nightmare. Wait, I don't know who says this. No. Futaba's the one saying this. Like, yeah, there's a word for people like you who are overprotective, Koricho. It's nightmare parents, and Koricho rounds out this bit of like sibling banter. It's like, I'm not a parent, I'm an uncle, but seriously, you are acting like a parent right now. You've legitimately said that. I feel like you've legitimately thought at times like, I wish I was their parent because they're so adorable. Which, yeah, that's something Koricho would think in hindsight. But yeah, we see Hiyofumi starting to continue with the mission, and she's just like, I don't like this forest, and she just see him walking, and you got like all these panthers stalking her, just being like, hey, we're gonna get it, we're gonna get that girl, and we're gonna get that bubble right here, right now. Before they all start to strike at her, and Ifum is just like, okay, I can't use my yo-yo, and if I put this ball down, I get nuggied. So wait, oh no, oh no, okay, I get it now. Going back and looking at it properly, so the task is that Hiyofumi has to be like, okay, you got to escape from point A to point B, but if it pops, this is going to trigger my super spinning air nugget, and basically just what amounts to, I'd say various amounts of punches that go to the head. So yeah, I was a complete idiot for not realizing that. So, but yeah, okay, I get it now. Oh, God, it's been quite a while since I've actually done this. So gotta get back into that brain loop. So yeah, she's like, okay, I can't use my yo-yo, and if I get this pop, then Antifuta was going to punish me. So what do I do in this situation? So all she can really do at this situation is dodge and duck and dive. But because Koricho, stop protecting her. I know it's your instinct as your uncle to protect her and as a family member to protect her, but at the same time, this is her mission. It's to help her deal with this. Like, what are you going to do when it comes to Asa? Which begs the question, like, is Koricho going to die at the end of this series because he's being so protective? You know what? I think a lot of people wouldn't mind that. So after Koricho is like, okay, back beast, I'm warning you, don't do anything to Hiyofumi, otherwise I'll do something to you and you're not gonna like it. We see Koricho attempt to activate his blooming before Futaba is just like, hey, stop it. This is not even a remotely an appropriate time to use your blooming yet. No kidding, especially since you have Futaba and Hiyofumi here, although that makes the question of what Koricho's true spring blooming is. Now I have had theories. I feel like the most prominent theory is that his true spring blooming, the one that I I had other theories, but yeah, they kind of got tossed out the window. But I feel like the most appropriate one would be like, okay, his blooming is like it's like a widespread one, and it's indiscriminate. It doesn't discriminate. It can attack both enemy and ally. So I feel like the more appropriate upgrade to that would be like, okay, he can control what is targeted by his forward blooming, and it can go like in a set path. I feel like that would be a much more advanced ability of his blooming and make it even more terrifying, because while it would be widespread, it will be if it was in his true spring blooming form, it will be directly coming to the enemy. So if you're the target of his true spring blooming, you better get out of there, if that is indeed what it's going to be. And but I feel like that would be the most appropriate one for him, because like, okay, how can I protect everyone against my blooming without having to make this barrier to protect everyone? And we're like, okay, if I can control it so that it ignores people that I want it to ignore, but attacks the people that I want it to attack, I feel like that would be the most appropriate way. But at this point, activating his blooming just on its own, like, it would probably attack him through me, and that will make things even more worse for him. But yeah, Futtaba was just like, okay, right now, Koricho, you are forbidden from helping her unless it's absolutely 100% necessary. So, without further ado, let's get back to training. And of course, Koricho's trying to do it in like a roundabout way. It's like, okay, I can't help her unless it's absolutely necessary. So, alright, I'll just be a supportive person here. So it's like, oh, if she's gonna fall, just use steel spider, and everything, because he's saying like, because we you have Hifumi saying, no, I don't want to, I don't really want to fall. And then you have her, and then you have Creature being like, come on, everyone, step on me so you can get across these crocodiles. Yeah, Creature, yeah, a lot of people would want to step on you, but not for the reasons you're probably thinking at this moment in time. But at this point, he goes on and says, like, "Oh, you're doing a good job here for me, but you don't have to force yourself. Okay, so yeah, great advice there. It's like, okay, yeah, we know you're trying hard here for me, but you don't have to force yourself to do anything that's beyond your control. But here for me, it's just like, no, it's okay, I want to do this. During the mission, getting stronger, this was all me being selfish, but everyone was so nice and said they help. Auntie, Uncle, Papa, Mama, even help us, so I have to try really hard. So I like that little moment from Hifumi when it's like, okay, yeah, even though she knows she's being selfish by asking, like, hey, can I join this mission? I know I'm not experienced in anything yet, but can I still join the mission? Like, she saw, like, the value of everyone helping. Like, even Kurichu, she's flat out saying, I hate you. And it's like, why do I keep having to be with this guy? She's just like, you know what? You've helped me in your own sort of, like, twisted way, Uncle. So I've got to try hard to live up to the expectations that everyone's placed on me. Creature at this point is just like, as we see Futtaba get in front of them, it's just like, oh, okay, maybe I can use this to my advantage. So, Hifumi, I may have underestimated some things, so let me offer you a suggestion that might be of help to you. And yeah, by the end of the chapter, that goes south really, really quickly. We then cut over to Asa's place where we have Yo and Ni. I guess, what are they actually doing? Okay, so I guess they're playing a game. Whatever game it is, is it just like a simulation of just like, okay, how can we beat the Yosakuras without having to be with them? Before we have Asa coming in, wearing cleaning outfits. And yeah, Asa, even with cleaning outfits on, he is still the most terrifying presence in this series. Before he asks Ni to step out for a moment. Yeah, he just says it so casually. Like, this is what makes Asa, like, fascinating, but also intimidating, terrifying at the same time. He's just like, yeah, can you go out for a moment and go and kill the Yozakura twins for me? Like, he just says that with the most casual voice. Like, I don't know exactly what they're gonna do if we ever get like a full adaptation of Mission Yozakura family. We get to Asa. Is it gonna be like, Ni, could you step out for a moment and go and kill the Yozakura twins for me? Is it just going to be something like that? Like, because if it's something like that, like, oh my god, that would be so tough. Like, get Keith Silverstein in the dub to voice Asa. Like, it just gives me so much Johann Liebert vibes. Like, get Keith Silverstein to voice Asa. Like, that would just be absolutely perfect. But, of course, we have Ni being like, oh, they're treating, like, the subject of just killing children, just being like, the most mundane thing of just being like, oh, do I really have to? He's ordering me to do vicious things like that. It's just another errand. But Asa goes on to say it's that it isn't like an errand. It's very much... Okay, is it an errand or is it an errand? Make up your mind, Asa. But he goes on and says, there is a risk the Yosakuras may investigate Moses' volcano laboratory. Before they do that, I'd like you to retrieve something for me. Would you go and do that, please? Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but Asa doesn't know that, like, they're going to investigate Moses. Like, although he probably has an inkling of what they're actually going to do. But at the same time, like, was that established that he knew where they were going, or is he just assuming based on what the events are happening? Anyway, besides the point. Again, just, oh my god, like, this guy. I really cannot wait until we get to the fight with him, because it's just going to be like the most casual but terrifying thing ever. Because it's just like, okay, here's your lunchbox, and here's your thermos, it's your favourite grilled salmon for your case of murder. If on the off chance you run into the Yozakura twins, eliminate them immediately, no questions about it. Like, yeah, Asa does not fuck around. With the power with your power, that ought to be easy enough. Before Nia's just like, what? Really? I thought we were supposed to harvest the Yosakuras. yeah, which is a good question. As like, do the twins count or do they not? And the answer is no, not in Asa's eyes, because he goes on and says they're an explanation, they're an exception because they're too dangerous. Kill them on sight, no matter what it takes. So yeah, that is terrifying when Asa is terrified of the Yozakura twins. But still, like, just the faces he gives in the series, like, just... It's like the devil piercing into your soul right about now. We cut back over to South America where we have Koichiro, Futtaba, and Hirofumi standing at the Mount Gares base. Before they go on and say like, oh, that something stinks. Oh, that's the smell of sulfane. This sulfur. That's the smell of sulfur. So is this set in the in the Dr. Stone universe? Are they gonna run? Are they gonna run into Senko? Are they gonna run into one of the Medusas that was in that giant pyramid? Sorry, I just find it so coincidental that Dr. Stone and Mission Yozakura have parts of their story set in South America. I mean, with Yozakura, it's kind of expected, but I digress. They go on and say that's not for the entrance to Mozu's lab. Beware of traps and sensors. Futtaba goes on and says, like, but first here for me, you did a good job. You got this bubble all the way here without popping it. But this is when Futtaba notices something is up here. It's like, yeah, this bubble is without popping. Yeah, how did you actually do it? And then you see her moving away a thick layer of plastic which pops the bubble. So this is where Futtaba like starts to get really angry because I do believe this was hinted at before, but one thing she can't stand is cheaters. And that's exactly what Hirofumi and Koichiro did. They cheated by wrapping the bubble in a film of thread so fine that it's practically invisible to help make sure it wouldn't pop nearly as easy. So basically, even though she specifically forbade Koichiro from helping, he helped her, and he helped her in the worst possible way, because this was meant to be a test to demonstrate, like, okay, we've got to trigger her blooming somehow, so we've got to put her in this situation. But at the same time, this is not a situation where you can actually fake it. Like, it's got to be the real deal. And Futtaba, I think at this point, is like, okay, so if this fake situation didn't do it, how about a real situation? She goes on and says, like, I see, and that is why you two have promptly ran, because you know that I do not like cheaters, and now you've cheated, now you're gonna get it. As we see Hirofumi and Koichiro just be like, okay, we've got to get away from her, really quickly, and Hirofumi's just like, was this really the best idea? Yeah, and Koichiro says, yes, one thing that Futtaba despises more than anything else is cheating. Once, Shion and Keiko cheated in a game of Cards for and lost, and when she found out, it was intense. And you can just imagine, like, them trying to cheat Futtaba out of a game of chess, and then she probably just exploded half the mansion as a result of that. So, yeah, never piss off Futtaba. When Red on the Controlcast Twitch was reading the first chapter for what must be like his 5th time trying to get into the series, which I hope he continues on the Twitch. I compared Futtaba to kind of Tatsumaki from One Punch Man, which, by the way, Futtaba Tatsumaki Death Battle, that would be something interesting. But yeah, so it'll be scary to see. It'll be scary to like go up against Futtaba when she's really pissed off, which is exactly what they're doing right now. And Koichiro says, "Oh, but the cheating was necessary for exactly what you need. Otherwise, it wouldn't be reader training for you." No, it's still cheating. It's still cheating. Don't try to worm your way out of this one, Koichiro. You cheated. You know you cheated. Just accept it like a man. Before he goes on and says, wild animals and treacherous pits aren't really an obstacle for you. They only seem hard on the surface, but the one who's been too kind is Futtaba, not me. But your desire to get stronger is really with this. I can give you a true challenge, the biggest danger you could face. One so intense it could draw out your blood. Like, okay, so I guess Koichiro was on the right line. Like, hey, we've got to make sure this is a real... Okay, alright. Okay, so what I'm gathering here, like, Koichiro's just being like, No, the one going soft on you is Futtaba because she's saying like, okay, we've got to treat this as a simulation danger, and Creature's like, no, we cannot be doing that. Like, it has to be the real deal to face something so intense like a dry blooming. So, what's the best way to do that? I know, let's get Futtaba pissed off and see what happens there. So yeah, Heelfruit's like, that's why you made her mad. And Creature's, yeah, yes, that's why. We keep looking for the lab according to the plan, but our true mission is running away from Futtaba, which I don't blame you. But yeah, if there was any way to get out an intense emotional situation right now, it'll be like pissed off Futtaba who has blooming and probably true spring blooming. Creature explains like, oh, she's the eldest daughter. Even I don't know if it's possible to make a clear getaway, but do you think you can do it? And Ilfish is like, yeah, I'll try really hard. Thanks, Uncle. But then we see like just this black speech bubble of probably Futtaba just being like, what are you two babbling about? As you see her just like use her kinetic energy to just explode the area around her. And she rounds up the chapter by saying, Koicho, for teaching an impressionable girl how to cheat. Heelfumi for going along with it instead of calling it out. You've both been very bad. Now, you'll be punished. Which reminds me of just small soldiers like, you've been a bad boy. And now, you must be punished. And we see Futtaba just looking like, oh, you want to have a fight? Okay, I'll give you a fight. And yeah, Heelfumi now is like probably pissing her pants with fear. Before she says like, oh, Creature, can we really get away from Auntie? And Creature is probably like shitting himself right now, like, yeah, maybe not. And Heelfumi's like, I knew this was a bad idea, and that's where the chapter ends. So, what a way to this was the last chapter of last year. So what a way to end the year with a pissed off Futtaba. It was like Futtaba was just saying like, I haven't had much screen time recently, so it's about time I make up for that in the new year. That, I feel like that's probably like the fourth wall break that she's probably thinking right now. So I did see the spoilers for the next chapter, but I have totally forgotten about them, so I don't really know what's going from this. If we're going to see like Futtaba's true spring blooming, or if it's just going to be a regular blooming. I'm hoping at this point we see a true spring blooming, and we actually find out what that's all about. And if this is a way to trigger Heelfumi's blooming, I feel like that will make up for her lackluster stamping moments, which I feel like even the author kind of like knew, like, Futtaba's one was very lackluster, and he's kind of trying to make amends here. So anyway, Pyjams, at least we're getting some Futtaba action right here, which give us more Futtaba for the remainder of the series. Which, by the way, speaking of which, I do believe, based on what we're seeing here, it's like, yeah, we're probably gonna spend the first half of this year getting prepared for the final battle, and then maybe for like the second half into probably the first quarter of 2025. That might be when we start wrapping up the series. So I'm giving it to like March 2025 for the series to actually wrap up. I feel like that's a fair one. I'm on chapter 208 right now, so chapter 209 is the start of this year, and there'll be I assume 48 chapters, because that's usually the standard. So 48 plus 9 would be 8 plus 9 would be 9 plus 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, so 49. So 269, like, no, 259, like, yeah, 259. No, 269, like, somewhere around that ballpark, and then maybe going through to potentially chapter 2. I'm still going to say, like, between chapter 270 to chapter 300. I feel like chapter 300 would be like the winding down moment. I don't see it reaching chapter 400. But yeah, I would say either chapter 270 or chapter 300, that's where the series ends. But anyway, guys, what did you think of this chapter? Let me know, like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And this will be Lasherluke signing off. Later, guys.